Hello boys and girls, it's Mr. Bedley again, and we're going to be looking at multiplication of a 3-digit number times a 1-digit number today. This should be review for you, but if it's not, you're going to probably want to watch it a couple of times. Could be a little tricky if you've never seen it before. Alright, so let's read starting at the top up here. Multiplication is a faster way of adding. 132 plus 132 plus 132 is equal to 396. 132 has been written 3 different times and added together. So it can be written as 132 times 3, which is also 396. Think of it this way. 2 plus 2 plus 2 plus 2. You could write it like that, or you could just write 2 times 4, because that's 4 2's being put together. It's equal to 8 either way. All right, reading down over here. When adding, the ones column is added first, then the tens, and then the hundreds. You guys know that. You start here, ones, then you go to the tens, then you go to the hundreds. Use the same order for multiplication. First multiply the ones, then the tens, and then the hundreds. You're going to multiply each one by the number at the bottom that you're multiplying by. Multiply before adding tens or hundreds that are being regrouped. Can you explain why you must multiply before you add any tens or hundreds that are being regrouped? Well, let's take a look at this to see if you can understand what they're asking here. We're going to do each problem as a multiplication and an addition problem. So first we'll do number 1 here. Just watch me do this and see if you can understand why we would multiply and then add the regroup. So we have 6 times 2, which is 12, and a 1 is moved up here to the tens column. Now what do? I'm going to multiply 4 times 2. 4 times 2 is 8, and then I add the 1, making 9. 8 plus 1 is 9. The next thing I'm going to do is multiply 300 times 2. 300 times 2 is 600. 300 and 300 make 600, so the answer is 692. Now, let's take a look at this as an addition problem, and maybe you'll see from that why we would not put the 1 with the 4 to make 5 and then do 5 times 2. Why don't we do that? So when we add it together, we do 6 plus 6, that's equal to 12. Regroup with the 1 up there. Now, think about what you're doing here. You're doing 4 plus 4 plus 1, which is 9, right? If you were to add that 1 to the 4 first, over here in the multiplication, you would get 5 times 2. Well, 5 times 2 is 10, not 9. 4 plus 4 is 8. Then I add the 1 to make 9. So what I'm doing is multiplying 4 times 2, that's 8, and then adding the 1. I don't add the regroup before I do the multiplication. And then 3 plus 3 is 6. Now that was pretty complicated. If I started to lose you, maybe you want to pause the video, scrub back a little bit on that play head down there at the bottom and go listen to that one more time to see if you can make sense of it. All right, we'll do this next one together. Grab your pencil and your paper and just see if you can keep up with me or maybe get a little bit ahead. I'm going to multiply 4 times 3 first. That's 12. So I put a 2 down here and I regroup with the 1. Now am I going to add 1 plus 1? Which is equal to 2, and then multiply that times 3? No, I'm going to multiply first. 3 times 1 is 3, then add that 1 right there. That makes 4. All right, and then the last thing is to multiply the 2 times 3, which is 6. And this is a money problem. Watch out for those money ones. You got to put the decimal point in there and the dollar sign. Dollar sign goes before the number. Reminder from last lesson, DD, dollar sign, decimal point. Notice there's no cent sign in here. Cent signs are loaners. They have to be all by themselves with no decimal point and no dollar sign. All right, this multiplication problem can be written as an addition problem. So take your pencil right now. Always use pencil for this. And write 2.14, and then write 2.14. And then write 2.14. Now that top one should have a dollar sign next to it. That's 2.14 or $2.14 written 3 different times for us to add them together. 4 plus 4 plus 4, 4 plus 4 is 8, 8 plus 4 is 12. Regroup with the 1. Notice that we have 1, 2, 3, 4 ones, or we have 3 times 1 plus another 1, which is 4. Put the decimal point in there, and then we have 2, 2, and 2, which makes 6, and you need a dollar sign. All right, I want you to pause the video, do number 3, both parts, the multiplication and the addition, and then turn the video back on. So you should have already done number 3. 7 times 2 is 14. Regroup with the 1. I don't do 1 plus 0 first, I do 0 times 2 first. And 0 times 2 is 0, plus this 1 up here, plus that 1 is equal to 1, because 0 times 2 is 0, 0 plus 1 is 1. Then lastly, I multiply 4 times 2, which is equal to 8. Then I write over here this as an addition problem. 407 plus 407, because there's 2 of them. 7 plus 7 is 14. Regroup with the 1. 0 plus 0 is 0, plus the 1 is 1, and 4 plus 4 is equal to 8. Okay, pause the video if you did that wrong and fix it. Next part, number 4. Write the multiplication problem for each addition problem. This is going to do what we were doing up here, only we're going to go in the reverse. We're going to add first, and then we're going to do the multiplication. So when I add 3 plus 3 plus 3, I get 9. 5 plus 5 plus 5 is equal to 15. Regroup with the 1 up there for the 15, and I have 4 ones, which makes 459. A reminder on how to do the multiplication. 3 times 3 is 9. 5 times 3 is 15. Bring the 1 up to there. Multiply first. 1 times 3 is 3, plus 1 is 4. All right, why don't you pause the video, try number 5 on your own, and then turn it back on. So you should have already done this. 1 plus 1 is 2. 0 plus 0 is 0. 3 plus 3 is 6. Gotta have the decimal point and the dollar sign. Fix your paper if you did not do that right now. Then over here you should have written a multiplication problem, which is $3.01 times 2. 1 times 2 is 2. 0 times 2 is 0. 3 times 2 is 6. Decimal point, dollar sign. Remember, D, no cent signs with decimal points. They're all by themselves. All right, pause the video, do number 6, and then turn it back on. 6 plus 6 plus 6, you should have gotten 18. Regroup with the 1. That's 3, 6, 9, and 1 more makes 10. Regroup with the 1. 2, 4, 6 plus 1 is 7. 708, and you should have written 236 times 3. Hopefully your writing's a little neater than mine. I'm trying to write on a little tiny thing with my finger and on an iPad. It's pretty tricky. 6 times 3 is 18. Regroup with the 1. 3 times 3 is 9. Multiply first. Plus 1 is 10. Regroup with the 1. 2 times 3 is 6. Plus 1 is 7. Notice these all match each other because addition and repeated addition and multiplication are the same thing. You should get the same answer. All right, pause the video, do boxes 1 and 2 right here. Turn it back on when you're ready to see the solutions. Here we go with box 1. You should have already done this on your own. 5 times 2 is 10. Regroup with the 1. 1 times 2 is 2. Plus 1 is 3. Don't add the 1 to the 1 first. And then 6 times 2 is 12. 0 times 4 is 0. 2 times 4 is 8. 1 times 4 is 4. And I'm going to put those numbers over here. 12, 30, 0, 11, regroup, 7, 1. Adds up. I can feel pretty good about that one. All right, next, pause the video if you need to fix anything. 2 times 5 is 10. Regroup with a 1. 4 times 5 is 20. Do the multiplication first. Plus 1 is equal to 21. Now, the answer is not 210. It's $2.10. You got to have a decimal point and a dollar sign. No cent sign. Cent signs are loaners. They don't go with decimal points. 8 times 2, 16. Regroup with the 1. 0 times 2 is 0. Plus 1 is 1. 3 times 2 is 6. Decimal point, dollar sign. Always put those dollar signs on there on money problems. Kids forget that constantly. It is tricky. Don't be that kid. Be the one that remembers how to do it. So I'm writing my amounts down, and I get 6, 2, and 8. Decimal point, $sign. Let's put a $sign up here as well. Pause the video if you need to erase and fix anything, and then pause the video and do the basic fact practice. Do all those problems before you turn the video back on, because I'm going to show you all the answers at once. Make sure you try them on your own. Don't just copy what I'm doing. You'll never learn that way, and then you'll just get further and further behind in school. All right, so you should have already done all the basic fact practice, and here are the answers. There they are. You're going to pause the video and check your work, fix any wrong answers, erase and change those. Don't ever scribble on your math. Always erase and change when you discover your own mistakes. And don't forget to add up those check answers today. Don't just copy the number. Don't fake that check answer. Make sure you're understanding each problem on the page and doing your very neatest work and showing all of your calculations, putting those $signs on money problems, putting decimal points with $signs, putting labels on any word problems. You got to remember all that stuff. It makes you an awesome mathematician. Have a good day.